Welcome to Beats Decoded.
Woo! Welcome,
And
welcome.
Suvi. This is our fourth podcast.
Yes, and there's
How have you been?
progress.
How have you been? I heard your life's busy.
Yes, I have moved out of the mountains and into the urban city of San Diego, and there's a lot of situational discrepancies, but I am trying to work through all of it. As you can tell, I am inside a closet. I'm inside my mom-in-law's closet.
Mhm.
But yeah, set up a nice little. I burned some incense, some sage. I got my crystals, and it's good. But yeah, we gotta keep treading.
Well, that's good that you have a safe space.
Yes.
Yeah.
It keeps me nice and cozy, especially in the summer, especially coming from the mountains to the scorching heat.
So wait, you guys weren't in the mountains for too long.
We were there for like 5 months.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
so
we're
what was
kind of moving around, trying to figure out where we want to be with this, with our work situation, with the baby, and Daniel really wants to be out of the city. He does not want to live in the city.
Mhm.
Um, I am more of a city person, but I started liking living in a rural area, just coming into the city whenever we need it, because I can focus a lot more. There's far less distraction, and my brain is catapulting from one side to the other when I'm in the city. But we did have some financial situations that we needed to situate before we can make the rural area our permanent home. So that's why we're going to be with Daniel's mom. Moved back in with mommy. But you
Uh,
know what, man?
He's happy to
I'm
have you.
Yeah, she's so happy to have Ayan. She goes to work, so we kind of have the whole place to ourselves. But I have to run away from my baby from yelling, and it's an apartment, so I have to lock myself in the most tightest space. That's why I'm in the closet.
Makes sense. Makes
So he
sense.
just comes into the bedroom and saying, "Mama, Mama, Mama." Now he like looks under the door of the closet because he's figured out I'm staying inside.
You probably hear you. He's like, "Oh, mom's doing another podcast, not doing her mom duties and talking to the
Yep,
internet, strangers."
yep. Yep, that's exactly what he's thinking because dad is doing mom job right now.
All right, so let's go through the agenda real quick. We're going to talk about accessibility for the mock-ups. We're going to talk about the survey that you sent out to beta testers. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
talk about experimentation with chat base, and lastly, discussions about funnel marketing. So, why don't you give us the lowdown on accessibility friendly mock-ups?
Should I pull it up really quick?
Yep.
Okay, let me see. Present, but I gotta have that screen first, right? So, um, mock-up, preview, and present. So that's one. Select a tab. That's what it is right here. Okay, got it. Share.
All right, let me
Is it?
share the. All right.
Okay, so I did as per you instructed me. I figured out how to, make it a little bit more accessibility friendly. I can go more in depth into it, but because there's a lot of manual steps, and when it came to that level, a lot of the language did not make any sense to me because it said Arya, and I was like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, okay, so I might have to pull up a whole course about that. But what I did work on was the self inspection, that the automatic inspection that it does on Lighthouse, while when you click, right click and hit inspect on, with the website open, and it didn't even give me a score.
Mhm.
It said exclamation. That's what happened. So I kind of went into depth of it, and then it told me that the contrast ratio is supposed to be at least 3:1. And so I started playing with the faders and stuff, and I figured out this shade is
Mhm.
what makes it a little bit more viewable, and then it
Well,
passed
even
the
with
test.
this font, I would make the white font that you have like bold or bigger. Especially like
Mm,
the font's so big and then their text is so small, you have a lot of space that you can make it bigger, easier to read.
okay. Okay. So yeah, I can definitely do that. It did cross my mind. I don't understand why I'm so obsessed with tiny fonts. I should I should make a show called tinyfonts.com, like tiny table. Um, yeah, so I've worked on all of that, and I removed all of the my and kind of streamlined the whole thing, made the red little darker, made all the black fonts on red, white, um, and didn't do much more than that when it comes to the accessibility, because like I said earlier, I figured there's a lot more in-depth work I can do with it,
Mhm.
but I need more knowledge before I can do that. So yeah, that is my update with accessibility.
Did you
um
get a chance to do? We talked about stack ranking features, like talking to
yes.
users and then figuring out like what's the most valuable, and then you work down the list.
Yeah, so the education aspect of it was what we were going to have first.
Mhm.
And I wanted to get all of my beta testers situated before I can ask uh, that question. So I haven't yet asked that question, but I did come across something while I was working on accessibility, and it didn't make sense to me. Like I said, I have to go more into depth about it. It was basically, if you're hitting tab, is it going through the right order of operations through the UI, the interface? Like, when it comes to the tabs on the profile. But
Mhm.
I was like, and there was a whole code for me to figure that out, and it definitely seemed like a code. It remained beats coded at that point. Um, but yeah, I was hoping that maybe you can give me a little bit of an insight as to where I can start with that to even test it out, because it was a manual test, and I felt very overwhelmed. So that way I can make it a little bit more accessibility friendly.
Yeah, so I'm guessing you're not going to be able to run like Lighthouse against. You're using, what was it, UI Wizard or whatever it's called?
Yes.
UI Wizard, UI
Wiz
something. UI,
Wizard.
yeah, it's really hard to pronounce. However they pronounce it.
Wizard. Yeah. I figured
So
it has to be a website, right? To make that test a little bit more
yeah,
accurate.
it's not gonna give you accurate results if you're just doing like a mock-up. Um,
Yeah.
there are websites where you can take like the picture and then it'll
Mm.
create the website from the picture.
Oh, okay. But then I'll have to like create a whole website in order to do that, right?
Yeah, well, it'll create it for you. Like you give it the image, and then it'll generate the HTML for what you're trying to do.
Okay. So let me
I
see.
don't have the website at the top of my head, but I'm sure you can search for it and see um, where
Create.
you take mock-ups and it turns into actual websites. And I think I've seen a few of them out there where you can even do it by like a hand-drawn one, and then it'll generate the HTML for you.
Create the HTML. All right, I'll check that out. And that way I can actually check the tabs out.
Yeah,
How?
even this software that you're using now might have that feature where it'll spit it out in HTML. You probably just need to find where that option is.
Okay. Okay. So and when I have, I know this is probably the, kindergarten question for you, but it makes sense for me to ask it to you because I have no idea. So when the HTML is spat out, as you suggested, it doesn't need a domain name and all of those things set, right?
You can run it locally. So you just take the files, and then in Chrome you can say like file colon slash slash and where the directory is, and then you can just run the website,
Oh,
and then also
run
have
it.
Lighthouse run it from your local computer.
Say that again, please. The
Then run
last part.
Lighthouse. Yeah. So you just load it up locally and then have it test against it.
Okay. I can, is it something that I can also use Google Drive to do?
Uh, you could probably host websites. I don't know if that's possible. Probably it's possible because you're hosting files. But if you're just doing it locally, you just have you just download the files and then open it. You just go
I hear you.
into
Okay.
your file explorer or whatever, and then double click the index.html, your main file, and then it'll open up the website.
I have to write all this down because this is Greek and Latin mixed up into one language. Got it. Okay, I think it makes sense in my head. So, okay, cool. So I can do that. Um, and that way I can actually check the tab aspect of the accessibility feature,
Mhm.
right? Like, because the idea is if they can't see, you're just using the keyboard to go through your whole site, right? That's really what we're making it more friendly towards. Also, the seeing part.
Yeah, seeing it and then tabbing through things, right? So if I want to go to something like back in the days, Bill Gates really made it a point that you can use Windows without having to use a mouse. So there are shortcuts for everything. Um, Probably still very much possible today with the different operating systems. But that was like
Mm,
we don't want to be mouse dependent on the operating system. If the mouse is disconnected, you can still use the operating system.
okay, that makes sense. Okay, so that I can work on. Um, the chat based, the chat based dot co. That
Mm-hmm.
was an interesting experiment. I was definitely thinking I was doing something illegal.
Mm-hmm. What did
So,
you give it for data?
huh?
What did you give it data? Like what data did you give it?
I saw the option for a website. So I was like, all right, what's the website that would have the most music business information at this point? And I thought of it would be Berkeley School of Music. So I just put their blog page on there and it was incredible. It just had all the information.
Mm-hmm.
I was asking the chat about questions and it pretty much answered everything. Like it just knew the answers. Nothing about the website, but it I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about it. It is, so how do I incorporate that into my mockup? I can't, right?
Let's see here. Chat based. Let me share this with
I'll stop sharing. Stop screen.
present. And there's probably other websites just like this one. Uh,
Yeah, this one allows you to have one chat bot, and which I think right now is perfect for me for free.
mhm.
Because I
So
have data on my Notion which I can incorporate, but I'm still building that, and it's not covering everything. That's why I was like, okay, so Berkeley School of Music probably has that aspect figured out. Yeah, there you go.
well, would Chat GPT already know about Berkeley School of Music? Like, is that information not in Chat GPT?
You would find it if you ask the right questions. It
Yeah.
probably has all of that information. So I can use ChatGPT. No, but this is ChatGPT.
So this is like Chat GPT plus whatever additional. So like there's certain information you're not going to find on the internet, right? It's like if you have an organization and you have proprietary data or maybe data about your company that you're not making
Right.
public, right? You're not going to have that available. So think of it like you're doing customer service and you're you're providing the service to some users out there. They come in asking questions about your product. Now, not every single detail is listed out on the website, right? So it's not publicly available. So ideally, if your bot knew about your code base, it could tell the user exactly what you can't do. If it had access to your product roadmap, it could tell you, oh yeah, that's going to happen, but it's in Q4. You could go and have the bots know everything about your organization.
Mm-hmm.
Now, ChatGPT, anything that's up to 2021, I believe that's like what the cutoff date is. It knows about it. It's
Right.
public information. Like Berkeley School of Music, maybe not the latest blogs, but definitely all the ones before 2021.
Mm. So it's basically using information that's publicly available and whatever that is that you input into its database system and then generating the output based on the
Yeah,
questions that it receives. Okay, so that means I can add multiple sources of data. Huh.
sure, sure.
Okay, so I can add the chat GPT as well as like the word you mentioned, I wrote it down, product roadmap that I
Mhm.
have for my situation loaded in at the same time to create one perfectly viable bot, right?
Yeah, so you can, let's say you did like a Notion notebook or
Yeah.
something where you dump all your information about your class.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Which
chances
is
are
where I have it.
ChatGPT might already know that stuff, so you could just create a bot where you give the bot a prompt saying, "Hey, you're the chat bot for Let's Sync, so you're going to be doing lessons on XYZ topics, right?" And it probably already knows that stuff. Now, if you start bringing in like proprietary information that the internet doesn't know about, that you want to maybe teach, that's what you add into your Notion notebook or whatever third party plugin that you want to put in there.
Mm,
So in here, you can see like your custom data. They're showing the Notion notebook. They're showing from Google Drive,
PD.
PDFs, the internet, right?
Right. So when you click build a chatbot, it basically gives you all the options. And where would you do the how would you input the prompt? I don't think I remember seeing.
Why don't we try it? Let's see here. Well, let's see if they have a demo. Chat
I got
base.
so nervous that I deleted the whole chatbot.
Nervous about what?
I don't know, I thought I was stealing from Berkeley School of Music. It just
I mean,
felt
if it's
so.
publicly available information that they're putting on their website,
Yes, I know.
Google's downloading it, they're indexing it. Like all the companies are taking that data and building indexes and serving it up to the users. So you can
Yep.
do files, you can do whatever text. You probably pointed at Berkeley here,
Yeah.
Notion notebooks. I don't see where you can connect Google
Google
Drive.
Drive. Right. Um,
So let's
so
just go to
yeah,
the website.
so you can input all of the five, right? It's not just pick one and input that.
Let's try. No, it looks like you pick one and then you hit create chatbot. So it's only one. So what I would recommend is that you do a Notion thing where you just dump everything there and then connect to that.
So create even the links into the Notion file, right?
I don't know if it's going to go and crawl the links that you put in there. So you need to just pretty much dump all the data into a Notion notebook and then go from there. Now,
Mm.
you can also have, it says files, so you can do multiple files, right? So you can go and fetch a website. You can pretty much mirror websites by doing, I'm sure there's online tools to do this, but you can do a wget. It's a command line tool that you can do a recursive thing where it walks through the entire website, downloads the entire website. So you can just download that stuff, and that'll be part of your files that you're uploading.
Wait a minute. So this website crawls, I mean, it goes through the link that you put on the website, gathers all the information, and generates a file.
Yeah. So let me see if I can. It's been a while.
Wow.
Let me show you if I can do it.
My
You have a
mind
Mac,
is
right?
blown. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if I have a. I'll show the entire screen. Okay.
Ah,
So.
all right. We're going deep.
Let me
This is
let me
so
make
cool.
this big. Okay. It's blocking the view. A little bit higher. Okay. So let's go into downloads. Okay. So you can do a wget recursive. All right. Wget can follow links. Here we go. Let me
This
find it.
makes sense to you? Just curious.
Yeah, it's just telling the commands that you can do.
All I can think of is The Matrix, the movie.
Oh yeah, green on black is popular for developers. At least,
Mhm.
well, it's popular with me at least. All right, here I found the. All right, so I'll do it from my website. So wget minus r minus np minus l one minus a zip and then Haley.ai. So that was pretty fast. Didn't do anything. Failed. Why you gotta practice your demos before you give them. Believe me when I say that it's possible. You can just do a command to recursively just go and download the entire website, and you can specify how many links you want it to go deep. So
Where am I doing this?
inside a terminal, but I'm sure if you wanted to just download a entire website, you could probably find a online tool. Say, hey, download this website for me, and it'll fetch it for you.
Okay, let me note that down before I forget. Anything on Notion, there was one. Then download websites, right?
Mm-hmm. It'll probably crawl the website. It'll zip it up into a zip file or a tar file, and then you download it. Then you unpackage it, and then you upload it into your files for your data sources, or copy paste it into Notion. There's also ChatGPT plugins where you can go and say like, uh, using this plugin, go to this website and extract all the information for me. And so there you'll get it in like a summarization
Oh, let me
view.
check that right now, actually. So you're saying if I go into Chat GPT and then I go into a new chat and get so the plugins option, how, like, so this is another thing. So when you go into Chat GPT, I have like 4 plugins that it shows. So do
Mhm.
I go into settings to figure out what plugin I need to get?
So share your screen.
Settings and beta. Okay, here, let's go. Blah, blah. Oh my God. Let me find you. Where did you go? There you are. Share screen. Contact window. Where'd it go? Okay, let me just sign into here. Streaming. Almost there. Um, all right. ChatGPT. Is it sharing? No, it's not. Share.
Yeah. So
New
do you have the
chat.
pro version?
Yes.
Are you paying for ChatGPT?
Yeah. So I go into settings.
Yep.
Why is it not working? There you go. Beta features.
Yep. I don't actually think it's in beta anymore. But if you wanna, you have it on. So go to new chat
New chat.
or GPT-4. Go to advanced plugins. Last one.
Plug.
So the one that I've used, go to the drop down where you select which plugin. Now you can go to scroll to the bottom and then add a new plugin.
Oh, okay.
So here, okay. The one I use to fetch data is Vox, VOX,
VOX.
Vox script. Yeah, install that. All right,
Okay.
close this. And then in here, yeah, it's selected already. So now you can say summarize and give a website.
Okay, let's try that out. Summarize. Oh, my lap keyboard is turned off. And let me copy paste this guy. Uh,
So it should use that plugin to
oh
fetch
my
that page.
god.
Then I'll use ChatGPT to summarize it. Now you might not want the summary. You might want like detailed version of whatever, because
Right. That's
you know
true. I didn't even think
you're
of
trying
that.
to keep nuances and details, not just summaries, right? So
But it still does that. Depend. Just I don't use the word summarize. So should
yeah,
I just say
get me
generate a file?
yeah, or generate me um, a markdown version of this file.
A markdown?
Yeah, that's a type of formatting.
Okay, let me write that down. So since this one is still working, generate a markdown version of this file. Of this website. Generate a markdown version of this website. And then just it probably just generates a whole text-based stuff, huh?
This
Hmm.
thing is taking its time.
It's probably because I gave it the whole website. I should probably just give them like the blog page or something.
Yeah, I don't know if it's recursively walking through the entire website, which could, if it's Berkeley and they got 200,
Yes.
300 blogs that's trying to summarize all
Well,
of them. Or
I can stop this. Where the hell is my stop? It doesn't stop. All right. But I get the point. I basically go do that, use the right words, figure out where I want to get my information from, give the specific link to it rather than just the whole thing. But I really would like to see how the format in which it generates, though. Just like because you can't download from ChatGPT, right? They don't give you downloadable files. It's usually just copy paste, text
there's
based.
there's a copy button on the right side. That's the
Yeah, that's the most of it, but it's not like
yeah.
a
You
download.
could download the entire HTML. It's like if you right click, even right now, if you right click somewhere on there, if you wanted to
Oops.
get HTML, you could just right click, view source,
This one?
right click anywhere.
Okay. View page source.
And so that's the whole source of that particular website that you're viewing. Not the prettiest format because it's HTML.
I'm just staring at this one. Okay. Uh, what are you seeing? Actually, no, yeah, that's it. Um, share this tab. Okay, so and if I okay, so HTML, if I'm using the HTML for the website, I can just paste that in the text for part of the of chat
Yeah,
base.
yeah, it'll be smart enough to parse it. It understands that as you're giving it formatting.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So should we just wait on this or should we try putting something that we have in the chat base?
Try just a one page. Not I think it's trying to walk the whole website.
Yeah, how do I stop it?
Start a new chat.
I'm just gonna say, okay, new chat. Okay, it's already there. And let me go here and then get, why is there no, this guy? Okay, so I should say generate a markdown version of this link.
Mm-hmm.
So there goes my ease. Then go. Okay. They should do it quick enough, I think, because it's just one blog. Hmm.
It's doing something.
Does it usually take this long?
No.
Oh.
Oh, it's doing something.
Mhm.
It changed colors, so
It's alive.
all right. Well, let's move on to the next thing. So, do you get any time to look into funnel marketing?
Yes, so I don't know why funnel marketing just seems so intimidating to me. Even at this point, I downloaded a short, tiny little course for me to sit and study it and figure it out because it is, I don't even know where to begin. Um, I know I have to create the videos and I know I have to do the A/B testing, but to actually like execute it, it seems super overwhelming. Um, and yeah, so I was thinking I just have to sit with that being the only thing I'm doing rather than 10 million other things on the side. So that's why I felt like I have to put that away and figure out all the other stuff around it.
Have you tried learning about it through ChatGPT? You like
Yeah, I
high
have
level about, yeah.
I have I I told ChatGPT to explain it to me in simple terms, and it gave me just like a one page description. And I'm like, that seems a little too simple. So I copy pasted that and put it in my Notion so I have it. But it feels like a lot more. But I did get a little, like I said, a little ebook on how I can actually get down into figuring it out. And it's a good challenge. And I'm actually looking forward to it because trust me, now the last 1 month or 1 week, I've only been seeing funnel marketing everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like even when I see funnel freaking waffles, I'm like, funnel
Okay.
market, that's the universe telling me to figure this out. Yeah, funnel cake.
So
So
that's called your reticular activation system. It's like when you buy a Prius, all you see is Priuses everywhere. You buy it,
right.
all you see are Teslas everywhere. It's because you've like honed your brain to look for that, right? So
Yes. So that's it's definitely doing that. And it's good because it keeps reminding me to get back into it. So I think even right after we finish this, I'm just gonna dive into that and figure it out.
otherwise,
Because
wherever you look, you'll see funnel cakes, and you'll be like, "No, it's not healthy. It's not
yeah,
healthy." And
not trying to eat funnel cakes. Not where I want to be. So yeah, I'm completely aware that I'm the one who's making it overwhelming. Um, so I just have to like tackle it one thing at a time. I even have the format of all the videos I need to shoot for it, but instead of thinking of 5 videos, I'm just gonna like break it down to just I'm just gonna do one video and figure the system out before
mm,
I can automate it and do 5 videos and stuff like that. And it's funny because the e-course, the ebook that I came across was the dude was doing the same thing.
mm.
Like his webinar was basically teaching how he does funnel marketing, and then he sold his funnel, sold what he wanted to sell. And I'm like, damn.
So once you figure it out, you could just start selling the funnel itself.
Yeah.
And
I did find this website called ClickFunnels in the process of doing my research on it. And it basically, have you seen it? Have you come across that website?
no, I haven't.
It's pretty well set up. It's like it gives you and the free option. It's there is no free option. It's pretty expensive, so I'm not going to use it. It's like almost $120 for the basic version for a month. Because they know how much money I think once people figure it out, they can make out of it. Um, yeah, but it had like all of the basic things I need to get done. I like doing that. Sometimes I go to a website and when they tell me these are all the things that it gives you, then I individually try to tackle all of them on my own. So that was like a good little starting place for me to understand, okay, so this is the structure, you know? So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I am really, really like it's too much. It's looming around me like
Mm.
death.
The pressure is so much.
Yeah, but I know it's going to be really good for everything that I'm doing, not just sync together, but also like my website and my other one-on-one consultations that I want to do and get into. And because I have so much um, prepped and like so many ebooks that I've like come up with and they're all just sitting there. There's so many products that's just ready to go. But sales has been something that I have no experience in. In fact, Daniel even sat me down and started teaching me something about it. But it's something that I've never had to do. Like usually things just came to me easily, and I'm not trying to boast over here. But it's not coming easily to me now, like I'm at the stage in my life where I have to make an effort to sell something that I know is super valuable, but I'm not able to convince somebody else that it is.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's going to be beneficial for me, and I'm gonna tackle it. It's any advice and on what could be like the first breakdown step that I should focus on?
For getting going on the funneling,
Yeah.
I would just say, just kind of do a throwaway one, just
A
like
what?
a throwaway one. You do it, but you don't even put it out there. You just kind of like go through the flow, right? And get the flow down. Even the video can
Huh.
be bullshit. The web page can be nonsense. You don't make it public, but you do the flow. And so once you get the process down, then you're like, okay, that wasn't that hard. Let me actually put in the time and effort to do the actual videos and that sort of stuff correctly.
I really like that idea. I'm gonna write that down.
Essentially, just like you can just do kind of placeholders, right? Like, all right, this is the video that would drive people to do this, then to do that.
But I also have to master Facebook ads in order to be able to do this via Instagram, right?
Yeah, Instagram is Facebook, so yes. But doesn't Instagram have its own platform for? Is it all Facebook? I've
Yeah,
never
it's
done Instagram
meta
ads.
business.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like 3 years ago, I spent so much time figuring out meta business, and I like learned it. I figured I was like, oh, cool, there's the AB. I got it. And then a month later, they do this update and this whole bunch of like everything just changed. I went on there and nothing looked the same. So and they didn't even like make it easy transition. So you have to sit and like go through the process of learning it all over again. And I was like, all right. And then I got pregnant. So
Yeah, I'm done. Well, my dad was doing Facebook ads for his music videos to like drive up viewership. And so if my dad can do it, my
I did
dad's
not
like
see that
not
coming.
tech savvy whatsoever, right? Like,
Mm,
I mean, he doesn't even want to do tech. He'd rather have me do it or my brother do it or whoever's around him do it. He doesn't want to learn it
mm-hmm.
himself, right? He'd rather just watch the Indian news. That's what. But
Yeah.
he was able to like, hey, I know how to boost. I know how to put my credit card in. Let's go and do it.
Yeah. No, you're right. I can do it. I can do it. And I think the what you told me about, like, just go through the process of it. And I think what is happening is I'm putting too much pressure on, okay, if I start doing this and then people see it, what if it's not all set up right? Is what's kind of like it's a sphere of it's not the perfect funnel, is what is
You can
overwhelming.
put a dollar in, right? Like just do the bare minimum. Put a dollar in, see if you get clicks. Like, oh, actually, yeah, people got views, people got clicks, or whatever, right?
Yeah. So I was thinking like, first I can do the going through the process like you mentioned, and then the next one, I like I said, I have like a bunch of lead magnets just to collect signups. I can just
Mhm.
do one of those and not even sell anything. So it's
Yeah,
not pressure, just to
yeah,
figure it out first.
yeah.
Okay.
You just need to
Yeah.
learn the tools first, right? Once you know the tools, then you work on the content, right?
Mm, learn the tools. So
You
I
know,
know
I
what to ask.
think even I don't know where I read it from you, but it said like process, not progress, right? So
Yes.
get the process down before you
Yeah.
figure out all the other stuff.
Yeah. See, that's why that's my motto, because it's more for me, not for anybody.
Mhm.
I'm like, yo, this is a reminder. Every time I send an email, I'm like, oh, yes, yes, yes. Because I'm so focused. I think it's also Indian upbringing mentality. Like, why are you not first in class? So I'm like, I came second though. It's not that bad.
Second is the first loser, okay?
Exactly. That was my childhood. Oh my God.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just like so imprinted in my DNA to just like, this fear of failure. It's terrible, but I that's why we're doing this podcast to kind of help people with that process of being vulnerable and putting ourselves out there. Another quote that I keep reminding myself is there is strength in vulnerability. That's
Mhm.
something I felt and I came up with, and I'm like, I gotta like embrace it because to put ourselves out there in our worst situation and in all of the weakness is so frowned upon in our community, in any like non-white community, I would say. But
Yeah,
it's such a big problem. So much
fear of
pressure.
failure is a big issue because it things that you have to do to be successful, it's like it's almost like it's not even an option to do it. Like what you need to do to get to where you need going, right? So like so one thing that I was doing for my startup, we're trying to get beta customers as well. Handing out enterprise plans for free. Uh, but to go out there and find what those users are, like I went and posted on Reddit, and then what does Reddit do? They're like, "Oh, this guy is spam." Then they shut down all my accounts, shadow ban,
Oh,
right? So there's failure right there. I wasn't able to post correctly to not get banned or whatever I did to get banned. So I'm boycotting Reddit. I'm never going to use Reddit again because I don't like the shadow banning because I'm like wasting my time commenting, trying to help people, but then the
yeah,
so. But you just take that failure and you keep going. You keep going. You keep going. So being an entrepreneur is not easy. Like
it's not.
it's not easy. So you have to have thick skin. You have to like tough it through, and you take the L's. But it's almost like you take the L, you learn the lesson, but you forget it even happened, and you move on.
I like that. Yeah, take the L's, get the lesson. The lesson only comes from the failure, though, the losing. The lesson from the loss. Yeah, there's no lesson from winning. That's kind of what I also realized. I was so focused on winning as a child. Like I was obsessively an overachiever. Oh, lights gone. Um,
The show's over, everybody.
yeah,
But
I was.
I like make the L a lesson instead of a loss.
Yeah, yeah. So, but the lesson can only come from a loss. There's no lesson in when you win. That's what I was gonna say. Like I was so obsessed with winning all through my childhood. I definitely was an overachiever, like in everything, arts, music, academics. And when I started failing in life,
Mhm.
in real life, I didn't know. I had no uh grounding or like no base to hold on to. There was no foundation for me to understand that how that must be overcome. Because now all of a sudden I'm just looking for my dad to come and punish me. I'm like, but that's not gonna do anything.
If you lived an easy life where you didn't have like hardship, you didn't have these L's, and you didn't get the lessons from them, your like base personality is very fragile. So if things don't go your way, whereas someone else is like, or whatever, it didn't happen, like they just shrug it off. Other people take like, oh my goodness, they didn't have my brand of ice cream at the store. It's over, like they're very fragile. Like small things bother them to the point where they're in tears and they're crying, and that's like trauma, right?
Yeah,
They didn't get tough trauma before, nor did they get the coping mechanisms to deal with that sort of stuff.
the
So
coping mechanisms. Yep, that's what I was. Because even up until the point where I moved to the US, I came here on a full ride scholarship where I would see me going into the fees, whatever the payment department to like collect my check for monthly expense, while all these kids are like paying the school money to be there, and it used to
take
make
a
me
minute.
feel so bad. Yeah, and then when I got like America really kicked my ass. I'm not gonna lie. Like India, like I always tell people, they were like, "Why did you leave such a successful career back home?" Because then I realized I was a big fish in a small freaking pond, and I wanted to give myself a challenge with being a small fish in a big pond, And yeah, trust me, America has been kicking my butt, but it's also made me far more thick-skinned than I ever was. Like no, trust me, my life wasn't easy when I was a kid,
Mm.
but at least what I touched turned into gold. My family situation was, oh my God, don't even ask about that. But like I was always winning, and there's no lessons in winning. You have to fail, and that's the only place there are lessons. So now I feel bad for the kid who comes first in class.
It's like, oh, you fool! You have no idea this is not going to serve you well in the rest of your life. All right, let's talk about next steps. What's your homework?
So I'm definitely tackling funnel. My voice even cracked when
So
I'm
scary. These
definitely
politics.
so I'm definitely going down this funnel and figuring that out. And maybe I can add. Oh, I did want to tell you a little bit about the beta testing. So I have brought it down to 20 people, and I sent them questions. I sat and thought about what would be the best three candidates or best five candidates for me. So I included a question about it, asking if they require accessibility features on the website. And if it's a yes or a no, depending on that, I want to make sure I have at least one person on there who needs that feature so I
Mhm.
can work with that person to incorporate that aspect into the website as well. See, I'm learning. I didn't even think of this 2 weeks ago until you brought it up. So that's going well. I'm getting going back and forth into figuring that out. Um, I also wanted to tell you, Mark has been super supportive. In fact, he proactively asked me, "So, what do you want me to help with?" And with the sync together, and I was like, I will definitely give you more details in a few days or a week or so because I want to figure out the beta testing. I want to figure out all of that aspect before I can incorporate him into any aspect of it, so I don't lose his precious time. And so yeah, funnel marketing. I will figure this out. Is there anything else? One other thing I can add,
Mhm.
so I can make sure that I get that done. Because from last week's the stacking and funnel marketing is from like 4 weeks ago at this point, 3 weeks ago. That I can't.
Dragging your feet, man. Dragging your feet.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But this is where I'm failing. I'm learning from my failures. So yeah, you tell me.
Let's see here. I would say start talking to your beta customers, start talking to or beta users, start talking to potential customers, and then figure out is what you're building of value.
Great. Okay. I did want to ask one more thing. The chat bot that I am going to build, that's something that I'm going to work on as well. Is there a way I can incorporate that into the mockup so I can also have the beta testers go through that process?
You can, I mean, if you can, I haven't used it myself, but I'm sure that you can probably get like a um, link to your particular chatbot, and then you maybe like link it inside. I
So
mean, you
at
can
this point,
say, you just tell them like, all right, now pretend that you're clicked here, but it takes you to this page. You just give them the scenario like, hey, we're gonna incorporate this bot into here, but right now it's in this other page. Have them
huh?
work with you.
So maybe I'll just incorporate to just make it more efficient in my system that I'm trying to build as well. I'll incorporate whatever chatbot I build into my Suvi Society website. So it's like a nice little, because that one is live and out there. So it's like a nice little teaser for what people can expect on Sync Together. And then I
Yep.
can just send that link. And in order for them to access that information, ask for email address. So that way I'm also building. Maybe that's something I can do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do that. So yeah, I think that's enough. Enough for homeworks.
All right. That means it's time to play us out with some music. Thanks, everybody.
Bye bye.